Well, hello. We are at episode 3 of Sage Talk for Wicked Problems. My name is Meryl Fury, and I am here with my whole food plant based BFF, Paul Chatlin. We are co founders of Sage Circle Alliance, and we're here to talk about wicked problems. First, a little bit of a definition. A wicked problem, and we're looking at social issues now, is an issue that persists, even though most people would agree we have the capacity to resolve it, and it's detrimental to either health, it's detrimental to the planet, it's doing something to undermine human decency or compassion or the equality of all living beings. Wicked problems are gnarly. They're tight knots of things that have tentacles and that reach out and touch other issues and areas. They're also held in place by conflicting interests. Very often, there are people who like the wicked problem held in place because they're benefiting from it, either financially or psychologically, or they get more power from it. And because of this, wicked problems are damn difficult to resolve. So today we're talking about health and illness, supply and demand, and how we bridge those gaps. Welcome to the conversation. Paul?
Well, thank you for having me. And my name is Paul Chatlin. I am the founder of the Plant Based Nutrition Support Group. I am co founder with my other BFF, Meryl Fury, for Sage Circle Alliance. And I like talking about wicked problems. It gives me a chance to, speak my piece, I do a lot of reading and I live in a family in a circle that's got many different prongs and edges to it. And let's just dig in and let's try to talk about a wicked problem, Meryl.
Okay. So, one of the things we're doing at the Sage Circle Alliance is we're looking at how to resolve some wicked problems. These are problems that have existed for a long time, and in particular, in either the healthcare space, the animal compassion space, or how do we manage our planet space, right? So, one thing we notice is that there exists a group of people all over the planet, people all over the world who want to see the world function smoothly. Now, let me back up. The world functions just fine. It's people that cause the problems, right? People in our egotistical, maniacal ways. We want things our way. We want power. We want glory. We want money. We want land. We want whatever we want. And it tends to impact other people and the planet and other species negatively. So we have a group of people who want to see life function well for everyone, right? We have a group of people who are interested in providing services that will support other people or animals, planet. And then we have a group of people who want those services. So we have a supply side and we have a demand side. And we have difficulty bridging those two. That's the difficult problem, the wicked problem we're working on today. So, Paul, in your experience, what do you see of the supply side of that equation?
Well, on the supply side, you know, and I could speak just from the people that I am with and work with and connect with, is there are common threads. The common threads from on the supply side would be knowledgeable. Most of these people have a degree, advanced degree, do ongoing classes. They understand their space. So it could be health coaching, it could be nutrition, it could be a medical thing. These people are educators. Number two, in the Sage Circle Alliance, the people that have joined, become members, and connect with us, I have met, along with you, Meryl, every one of them and spent time with them. And what kind of connects us all together is compassion and kindness. They, like I'm the one with the edge. They're not. These people are just good souls, good, kind, compassionate soul who really their MO and their job on this planet is to make a difference one person at a time. On the supply side, it's like we're fighting against each other. For example, uh, there's no denying that you know eating a plant-based meal lifestyle is the healthiest way to go. There's no denying that. The science hasn't changed. And the question is it like, why aren't we promoting that? And I say we, meaning everyone. Like just think about it. If your family said, hey, I've done the research, I've done the education, and as a family, we're going to work together to make healthier meals. Or what about a workplace? We need more production. We want, a lot of sick leave. Maybe we want people to be healthier, more alert. So as a company, why aren't they saying we are going to shift and we're going to give you bonuses, extra money, something to incentivize you to eat healthier? And it could be, we'll do a blood test and then 6 months later we'll do another one, we'll weigh it, whatever it takes. Why aren't medical schools promoting nutrition and everything that goes with it? So the point is we've got it set up to be successful. We've got the support from the people who are educators that are ready to help. But along the way, something happens. And it could be, and I've heard these excuses, I didn't learn it in medical school, or it's too difficult, or it's a house divided. There's always a reason for why. But if people just take it upon themselves as individuals and say, I want to live longer. I want to live healthier. I want to do my part to save animals and help this planet. If everyone took that upon themselves and did the best they could, it's amazing what changes we could see, and we could see them very, very quickly. So I guess that's my thoughts on the supply. We're ready on the supply side to give everybody what they need, what they want for a bigger, better life. I like saying that, better life. And it's now up to the other side to say, help us, educate us.
Right. Now, the challenge comes, okay, so yeah, that's the supply side. And then you have the demand side where you're saying people should ask for help. So, two things I see is that on the demand side, people are educated, indoctrinated. We have not learned that there are other ways to manage the health or animal compassion or planetary stewardship, right? There seems to be like a sort of one track way that gets delivered. We expect that, yeah, sure, I'm going to exercise and I'm going to eat right. And that's going to help me improve my health. But that descriptions that people are given of what is exercise and what is eating right are maybe not the best explanations or best methodology for exercise and eating, at least not the best for optimizing human health. So you have these people on the supply side, yes, raring, ready to go. And then you get people on the demand side who are more likely to want to take pills or have surgeries or just do the bare minimum in physical therapy and hope that that's going to make a difference. Whereas we actually know in this country, the way healthcare, illness care is done, it's going to keep people just sick. It's not really going to reverse or cure much unless you have some kind of acute illness like a broken bone or you have um, a bacterial illness or something like that. Then those things do cure, right? But chronic illness does not. So, question for you then would be, what is it do you think people are missing so that they would ask for the information that would actually help them get healthy.
You know, a couple thoughts I have on that. One is that, I mentioned how, you own your own life and do your own education. The question I've always wondered over the last 11 years is, like, truly, if we got 350 million people in the United States and we've got 2.3 billion in the world, like, how many people truly know the benefits of lifestyle change in the fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains type world? Like, how many people really know that if you go that route, here's all the things you get from it, starting with you? So I've often wondered that, like, truly, like, like, I think here in the city, in the state of Michigan, many people know about it, but I'm not sure everybody knows about it.
Mm.
So that's number one. You've got to get this message out to everyone. Now, we have freedom of our own choices. And me personally, I've never, like, it makes me sad. Yes, it does, that not everyone's doing it, or very few are even trying to do it. But the only thing that really makes me sad is people don't know about it. They got to know about it.
Mm.
That's the big thing. And for me, it's like, and I think it is with most people, they even for those who know about it, they won't do it unless there's a situation that pills and that next procedure can't fix.
Mm.
And then they say, well, I've tried everything else. Now I'm going to eat better. I mean, it's kind of crazy that they would go that route. Like to me, because I just, I can speak for me. I mean, I was a big meat eater, and, back 11, 12 years ago. And my future looked like, hey, you may need a new heart, or hey, you may need quadruple bypass surgery. I'm like,
Mhm.
holy shit. Like, I don't want that. I just don't, the whole idea of it, the pain, it's painful. It's really painful, but it goes away. But then, all that comes with it, maybe future bypasses.
Mm.
I just didn't want to go down that path. And I thought, well, I may have no choice, but let's try it by just changing food. And I was a foodie. I was a real foodie. And it's like, what I've come to realize is, it's like, do, people ask, do you like the whole food, plant-based food? And I tell people, it's average to good. It's never been great versus it was great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but you can't put enough dates together to equal chocolate. You just can't, or you can't put enough of that fake cheese, nutritional yeast, on whole wheat bread and throw vegetables on it and say, well, it's got to taste better than pizza with hunks of cheese and meat and pork and all that stuff. It's really weird because my taste buds changed. So one would
Mhm.
say, well, you should like the dates because your taste buds change. Or, hey, you should like that pizza with nutritional yeast and vegetables because your taste buds change. Well, I don't know. But along the way, somebody put something in my brain that said, I love chocolate.
Yeah.
I love cheese.
Well, let's look at that a second as part of the wicked problem, right? So one of the things is we are marketed too heavily to eat things like pizza with cheese and pepperoni, or milk chocolate, or whatever the heck else. There's so many of them, right? So many things that are created exactly, literally in a lab, so that they trigger certain parts of our primitive brain, right? So part of the problem is that we have a section of our economy that is dedicated to keeping people hooked with these foods, right? These food-like substances. We get marketed to say things like, I was just looking at old ads earlier this week. How many foods are outright connected to happiness and friendship, uh, on how many, by advertising, right? So there's have a Coke and a smile. I don't even know if they still say that anymore, but that's like a thing. Oh my gosh, I could have a Coke and I could be happy. I could buy a happy meal for my little kids and they'd be happy, right? There's so many of these foods that are not particularly healthy, or they're not even really foods, right? They're food-like substances that have been tied to some aspect of life that people want. So we go after these foods subconsciously thinking we're going to get that thing that they're tied to. And that keeps the problem in place. That right there helps cement it in place.
Well, Meryl, I could see that in a way because, like, I could see that only to a certain degree. Meaning, when I was a kid growing up, my mom said, "This is what you're eating, and this is what I ate. Otherwise, I was going to go hungry." And
Right.
Paul never liked going hungry, ever. So, I mean, but what would she feed me? It could be a big a meat item. Definitely, it was some dessert full of sugar and stuff like that. She didn't know any better.
Right.
But what's happened now is that with all the information that's available, people know that eating certain foods. I think everyone knows that if you spend every day eating a Happy Meal, you ain't gonna be happy. It'll end up being a very sad meal for you someday, right? I mean, so my point here is that, you know, I almost want to just say to everybody who's listening today, the millions that are listening today, own it. Meaning, eating a certain food type is good for you. Salt. Now, we all know you take a little whatever you want to eat, you put a couple shakes of salt and it kind of brings it out. But if you do that to everything you eat, now you're overdosing in salt. Salt's not good for you. We know that.
Mm.
Sugar. Like if you had one cookie, okay, maybe that's a little high in sugar, but who eats one cookie? I got to have four,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's, supersize everything you do, right? So,
Mhm.
you know,
More is
think about,
better.
well, exactly. And, to me, and again, I look around, I observe things. And what I observe is that people have gotten bigger. And I wonder something like whatever, it's your life, enjoy it, that kind of thing. But I know what it felt like carting around an extra 40, 50 pounds. I
Mm.
did that 12 years ago and lost it. And I couldn't imagine at my age, and I'm in my mid 60s, going on 30. And I just know that, like, the wear and tear, and then you could throw on another 50-pound weight on me. Oh my goodness, I'd be shuffling. I wouldn't be able to do the things I do.
Right.
So I go back to what I first said, which is we have to just look at someone, just say, if you're hurting, own it and make the changes before somebody in a surgical ward does it for you.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I was just talking to somebody a little bit ago who mentioned her sister. Sister is a very heavy person. And when the doctor actually did tell her, it was in the context of the sister was diagnosed with gout. Gout is well known for a long, long time, since Henry VIII or earlier, that it's connected to eating animal products, eating animal flesh, right? Beef and pork and fish and these things, right? It comes from the proteins in meats. So the sister's doctor told her, stop eating red meat, start with that. And the sister's response was literally, I'd rather die.
I've got friends like that, Meryl.
Yeah.
I've got a few friends, and I got a buddy of mine who's lost three toes for diabetes. And I'd look at him and I'd say, "Hey, brother, I've known you for 40 years. You've seen what's happened to me. Let's try. I'll help you. I'll do anything." Paul, I love my meat. I don't care. I go, "But dude, you went from being able to walk around no problem to you walk with a cane now."
Mm.
So again, these are adult choices.
Yeah.
It just, wow. It's like, wow. Is that food is that powerful? So let's go back. Let's take a step back and go back to the supply demand thing.
Sure.
So the supply thing is that, and I could use like at the Sage Circle Alliance,
Yes.
we are we are on right here. We're suppliers. We are suppliers to anybody who wants the things that we offer. And some of the things that we could offer are excellent, kind, compassionate speakers and coaches and nutritionists and doctors and IT people and marketing people and people, if you want to go on a retreat or go on a cruise, we've got all these people who could supply this for you that will sit, unlike a lot of companies, they're human beings that will talk to you. You could give them a call or an email and say, hey, I want to talk. And they're ready. They're ready. They're supply ready. So boom, within X amount of hours or a day, you'll hear back and line up your questions. Remember, they're kind and compassionate. So the question now is how do we get this demand to equal the
Exactly.
supply?
How do we bridge the gap?
And the bridging of the gap to me is, I used to say, well, we need to educate everybody. But hey, I've been doing this for 11 years. You've been doing it for a lifetime as a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny. I wish, and at PBNSG, we created a public service announcement. It was like 15 to 20 seconds. And it was like, eat fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains, the healthiest diet. Boom, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be on a reel and it would run all the time for a 6-month period. And it helped. I mean, we got some awareness, but like you never, ever, 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 how many evers can I have? 10 evers. Ever, ever see a health commercial for food.
Right.
You never, so you could be here. So here's the lineup. I'm watching my favorite show. It's commercial time. Oh, great. First commercial. It is take a pill if you're diabetic and will help you lose weight. Like, yo, it's supposed to drop diabetes and weight loss. Okay, so fine. And these are all very big people dancing and laughing and having the greatest time of their life. Good for them. It's crazy, but good for them. Next commercial will be a food commercial for, let's just use McDonald's or get,
Sure. Any fast food will do.
here's bad food. Next commercial is something else to keep you off guard, but it has nothing to do with health.
Probably beer.
Yeah, we'll go with beer. Go brewski, okay? Whatever. But here's the point. I could spend all day. I never watch TV ever all day or even for more than a couple hours. But when was the last time you saw somebody say, hey, I'm a doctor and I see patients, 20 patients a day, and all of them they don't come to see me usually because it's a well visit. They're coming because they got issues. And I say the same thing to every one of them. What do you eat? And here's a card of things that you could do, both from a support standpoint, a supply standpoint, a health standpoint. In other words, when are we going to start seeing some health commercials? Like that's all we need. It's just like there's enough documentaries out there. You've seen all the great stories of reclaiming your health, but why don't we put this on national TV?
Mm.
Because if we do those things, first of all, the United States leads the world in everything. So if we did it, maybe India, China, maybe other people would do it, maybe because they kind of follow us
Mm.
to some degree. Secondly, is immediately if some people start making that change, our planet would get healthier, animals wouldn't be slaughtered, and they would have all these situations where they're like right next to each other, can't breathe, and but they're super big now, and they go to slaughter, and they're filled with bad chemicals, and they give it to you humans to eat. That would slow down or stop. So let's all go back to the beginning. You need to look in the mirror like I did 11 years ago. I own my life. Here's the facts. I'm not stupid. I'm not brilliant. But I understand this is a better way to go. This is my last chance before bypass or a heart transplant. And here I am today, living proof. By making those choices, I still have never had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty powerful. And I always tell the doctors, like, explain me. Like, why aren't you telling this to your patients? Well, because I only got 8 minutes, or I don't think
Yeah.
many patients could do
They
it.
won't believe they won't do it anyway, right?
Right.
There's another
I say,
one.
then explain me. So it's a wicked problem. It really is. And so
Yep.
I don't know if it's education, calling people out, but my newest idea is, wouldn't it be great if we could have enough money to put an ad out there, and just run with it on health so we could combat some of the crazy commercials we see.
Mm, mhm. Yeah,
So, yeah, if anybody wants to donate, I think a 30-second ad's a couple $1 million. I'm willing to say,
depending upon what time of day it is and what
right,
channel you're on, right?
but as the co-founder of the SCA, you could make that donation, and I promise we'll get right into development and get a commercial of health that everyone gets to see, and that may make a big difference.
Yeah. You know what? I would even go with just advertise whole fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and whole grains and beans. Advertise those like we advertise the fast food stuff and the convenient prepackaged ultra processed stuff. Advertise real food for humans. That could make a difference, you know?
Yeah.
And then stop advertising. Here's the other thing I would say. Once we have the proof, and we already have it, that ultra processed food is detrimental and that fast food doesn't do a body good, nor does dairy and all that other stuff. Once we have that proof, it ought to be illegal to advertise that, and certainly illegal to put it in a hospital where people are trying to recover from illnesses. It certainly should be illegal to have that stuff in schools, right? We should not be feeding our children processed meats like hot dogs and pepperonis and sausage and breakfast sandwiches with sausage patties because we know that stuff is carcinogenic. There's no excuse for that.
And here's the thing too. It's like, we're not like not benevolent human beings. Or I remember they said we're kind and compassionate. I'd be happy if they said, instead of, like, how they make a big deal of Meatless Monday,
Mm.
why don't we have it called Meat Monday?
So
Six
it's the
other day,
exception, right?
right? 6 other days of the week. Now here's a beautiful thing: 6 other days we feed kids, we go to the hospitals, we feed our patients the healthy meal, and then we just say, and Meat Monday, you could go ahead that bad meal, but here's the funny thing: when you start eating healthy, when you eat that bad meal, it doesn't like you anymore.
No.
Because here, I'll show you what happens when I do that, because it's rare, but once in a while when I do it. Here's how I feel in the morning. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, my tummy's killing me. You know? So, it just reminds me, like, that and hey, again, it's all in your mantra. It's all in how you look at things. So for me, it's like, hey, wow, I feel good every day. I want to keep that up. How do I do it?
Yeah.
Well, I got to do these things to make that happen. Is that more important than a piece of ham? Yep. Is that more important than chocolate ice cream? Yep. What I mean? And it gets more important as you get older.
Yes,
That's the
indeed.
thing. Like, when you're a kid, you're like, who cares? I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm like, what can I do so I can live the next, I don't know, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And there's less pain. So again, we are ready on the supply side. We are ready.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just open the doors for the demand side.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Well, Paul, we are at right about 30 minutes. And out of respect for your time and everybody else who's listening, we should wrap it up.
Well,
Any
thank
final
you.
thoughts?
Yeah. And this is really going out to the millions and millions of people who are following the SCA. We have room for you. Okay. Let's build more supply. Let's build more supply. Okay. And I guess today's challenge to everybody is just take that. I always call it the hard look in the mirror. It's funny. We were laughing before we went on board, but I for many many years I didn't care about growing hair, so I would just put it in the number one and shave it. Boy, it was easy, right? But then the boss, that's AKA my wife, said, "Hey, let's grow it out. Let's see how it looks." Now I gotta look in the mirror more because I got to make sure that it's kind of nice, right? So it's funny because you take a good hard look in the mirror and you got to ask yourself tough questions all the time, like how's your hair look, or did you shave and follow the lines, or are you treating yourself the best you can every day? So that's the challenge to the millions and millions of SCA viewers. Take a look in the mirror and do your very best without judgment on our end, but success on your end.
Yeah. That's
Thank you, Marilyn.
beautiful, Paul.
Thank you.
Ah, this is why I love talking to Paul. On that note, we will bid you all a fabulous week, and we'll
Happy
see you
4th.
next time.
All
Right?
right.